Hey YouTube friends! So I'd like to talk about breastfeeding. I made a video about 2 weeks ago on this and I rambled and rambled so much I couldn't even edit it and I just deleted the whole thing. And today I realized I could talk about the same thing, products, engorgement, how I started off nursing a newborn, and just chop it up into different videos. Hello! So that's what I'm going to do. And if you are a creepo guy that's watching breastfeeding videos, I will tell you now that I do not intend on showing my breasts or pictures of other breasts or anything like that. I'm just talking about nursing, so you can click off right now. Click, click, goodbye, see you later. Why are you watching this? Okay, so I want to talk about how I started off breastfeeding my newborn. A little background, I am not a lactation consultant at all. And I breastfed my daughter for 8 months, and then the job that I had I could not pump, so I ended up just weaning her off at 8 months. I didn't want to, I wanted to keep going. We had a great routine going, but it just worked out that way. And right now with my son, I'm 4 months in. Okay, with that said, I have 3 things to talk about with breastfeeding. Number 1, it's weird. It's really weird if you think about it. It's really weird. Number 2, it is magical. This substance from my body is the exact food source that my baby needs to thrive, and it's feeding him off of my body. It's magic. And 3, it is so worth it. Financially, it's wonderful. You're not paying for formula. Your baby's health is wonderful because they are getting your antibodies against different disease. Why am I blanking out? I need some coffee. Anyway, your baby's getting antibodies to help them out, to keep them healthy, to protect them against diseases and bacteria that's out there, so yay for that. And emotionally, it's also great because when you nurse, it releases oxytocin and it relaxes you and helps you to feel better about yourself, blah, 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 blah. It's great. I love it. Okay, so for a newborn, you don't really have to worry about how much milk that your baby is getting in the hospital or birthing center or whatever after the baby is born, because they have some retained nutrition from being in the womb. The first substance that your baby's going to get is called colostrum. You can look up what that is and the amazing benefits of your baby receiving colostrum. It's only a very small amount, so your baby isn't getting that white milk that you see if you pump. It's just kind of a clearish, yellowish fluid full of antibodies and nutrients and vitamins, and it's awesome sauce. So look that up. That's what your baby's getting first, so don't worry if you don't have all this milk pouring out of you, because you probably shouldn't, and your baby really needs the colostrum. Okay, so what you're going to worry about initially is focusing on latching. A good latch is going to set you off for your whole breastfeeding adventure. I'm telling you, you need a good latch. And don't be afraid to ask for a lactation consultant if you are in a hospital setting, and allow them to grab your breast and maneuver it and show you exactly what to do. Somebody's going to be grabbing your boob. That's okay, because they're going to show you what to do, so be prepared for that and just go with it. Ask your husband to go get some lunch or something, or your partner, or your mom, or whoever else is in there with you. Okay, so what I did for latching, my favorite is taking your nipple in your hand. It's really awkward. So you're sitting in the chair, find a comfortable chair, get a pillow or something to prop the baby on. So you have this tiny little baby right here. My son is sleeping right now, otherwise I would use him as my prop. Just lay him here, have your boobies hanging out in the hospital. Doesn't matter, everybody saw everything anyway, so no shame, just get naked. Also, take your baby's shirt off so that their skin can be against your skin, so you have more skin-to-skin, animalistic bonding going on. Your baby knows that you are it. Okay, so baby's naked, you're naked, and, well, baby has a diaper, and you're skin-to-skin, and what you're going to do is take the baby's head in one hand. I'm just saying, I'm starting on this boob. If it were this, it would be like that. So take the baby's hand in one, head, and you're going to actually grab your breast, and you're going to take your nipple and move it from the baby's nose to the mouth, and you're going to wait for the baby to open their mouth. So once they open it wide, and just keep practicing and keep going until they open it all the way, then you're going to literally take their head and holding your nipple and take their head and put it onto you. So don't put yourself onto the baby, because then you're just going to keep hurting your back and your shoulders and your neck. You already had enough pain. Take the baby's head and actually pop it on to you. And if it doesn't latch perfectly and the baby's mouth isn't covering the entire areola, then fish hook the baby up, get them off of you, and try again. And keep practicing on a good latch. If you're not latching correctly, you're going to be super sore, the baby's not going to get enough milk, or you're going to hear a clicking sound and it's going to be swallowing more air than colostrum. So just keep practicing on a latch. You can sit there and just keep practicing. Water is your best friend when you are breastfeeding. In the hospital, I always had a jug next to me so that as I was nursing, I was also drinking and hydrating to build up my supply. You gotta build it up from somewhere, and your body's going to steal it from somewhere, so you might as well give yourself some water. He said,
"Hey Mom, I heard you talking to my YouTube friends. Can I play? Can I come play too? I want to play. I want to be in the video."
Second thing with a newborn, be prepared for a very sleepy baby. They just went through a lot. They are tired. All they want to do is sleep and sleep and sleep. Try to wake them up. With him, I don't even remember with my daughter, but with him I did every 2 hours. Every 2 hours I set my phone alarm, and even if it was the middle of the night and I was exhausted, I basically got no sleep, but I woke him up and I latched him on just so he could get used to it. My body could start building up a supply and my body would know what's going on, and he would get a little hit and go to sleep, and that was okay. To wake him up, I would do baby sit-ups. So he was a delicate newborn, not like now, and we would do sit-ups like this, right, to wake you up. So we did, excuse you, Tootie Magootie. I would get him naked. I would blow. I would tickle toes. I would, if they're latched onto you and they start falling asleep, nudge their jaw, because it'll start them going nursing again, right? You can get them sucking again. Or let them sleep and just remember to start back up on that breast again. To help me out, I would put a bracelet on the last breast that I left off on, knowing that I had to go on that one, or I would keep a chart in the hospital because I was just delirious, and I would just write an R circle or left with the time so I knew what was going on, and I had a whole chart for the nurse to know and for me to know. Everybody was happy. Once your milk does come in, there are 2 things you should be aware of. There was an old school thing. Old school nursing is kind of nursing 10 minutes on one side, nursing 10 minutes on the other side. However, if you look at like Leche League, that was my big thing. I'll make sure to put their link down below. They discuss a lot about foremilk and hindmilk. Foremilk is the immediate milk that comes out when your baby latches on. It is thinner and it is lower in fat content because it's going to quench your baby's thirst. So that's what's coming out. I don't know how long it goes. Maybe you could look that up. So foremilk is what comes first. It's going to quench your baby's thirst. I probably said all this already. Stop repeating yourself. And that's not going to give your babies the calorie it needs. It's just going to stop it from crying and make it feel a little better. So you have to wait on the one breast for a little while, and mine actually comes in waves. So I'll get milk, and all of a sudden I can hear that he's not swallowing as much, and I'll wait a minute, and he'll keep sucking, and then all of a sudden I'll have this whole, like, wave of milk again, and I'm guessing that's my hind milk, or I don't know what it is, but that's just how my body is. Hind milk is, let's see, I wrote it down just so I wouldn't miss anything. High fat, creamier, the creamier milk that comes after nursing on one side. High fat hind milk mixes with high lactose foremilk, which equals fat calories for growth and lactose for energy and brain development. So I'll go with that. So I will make sure he finishes on one complete side, and for the first 3 months, he just did one complete side. He would nurse for 15 to 20 minutes. It's a commitment. But then clearly he is not starving. 18 pounds of bubba dubs.
18 pounds of bubba dubs.
Oh, he was getting the amount of fat content that he needed. I'm going to say again, your other best friend for nursing, water. Drink some water. Don't worry about a strict schedule in the beginning. If they want to nurse every hour and cluster feed, just go with it. Your baby wants to do it. It finds comfort in sucking. It finds comfort in the closeness between the two of you. So just go with it. It's okay. It's only going to be for a few weeks of cluster feeding. There was one day where he literally nursed every hour, and I cried. I think my husband was almost close to tears because in our household, my husband will do the diapers at night and I will breastfeed just so I don't feel so alone. So, yeah. But anyway, just go with it. Cluster feeding is okay. That's what your baby wants. So go with your baby. Don't worry about schedules. Well, actually, I say don't worry about schedules, but if your newborn is sleeping 4 or 5 hours, you might want to wake them up and feed them. Newborns do need nutrition, and they might sleep through it just because they're sleepy, but I know people say don't wake a sleeping baby, but I really do think you need to wake your newborn up and give them some nutrients. Please don't let your baby just sleep all day. Girl, that's lazy. You need to feed your baby and stop being lazy. Patience. This is while establishing nursing. It is really difficult and frustrating, and it hurts, and we're not even getting into engorgement yet. I'll do another video on that. But just have patience because it does get easier. It's weird. Okay, so the very last thing that helped me out with establishing nursing was not using a pacifier or a bottle for the very first month. I think in month 2 then I finally let him use a pacifier because babies need to suck on something because it soothes them and blah blah blah. But anyway, I wanted to establish his nursing muscles, get his palate, his tongue exercised enough, his mouth used to it, used to my nipples, and get him used to that and comfortable because a bottle is a lot easier. With a breast, they really have to work to get something out. Excuse me, with a bottle, it just comes out. So make sure you try if you can. It also requires a lot of patience, but try. My shoulder must be so good. Oh, it's so good. Try to establish nursing at least for a month and then pacify. I'm totally not against pacifiers. I agree with the research on SIDS and giving a baby a pacifier when they go to bed so that they can keep their airway open and soothe themselves to sleep if they wake up. He's not really, he doesn't really rely on them. He doesn't like them actually that much. I'm usually shoving it in like, here, shh, here, bah! But, yeah, so that's what I did for the first month. No pacifier, no bottle, just me. I was the pacifier. And if I really had to pacify him, I didn't have nail polish, I would take my pinky because my skin smells like me and is kind of the consistency of a nipple, and I made sure my nail was cut very small, and then I put it into, whoa, where are you going? I put it into his mouth with, the pad of my finger on the roof of his mouth. And he used my finger to pacify if he really needed to for a little while, or if I just needed a break. Okay, so that's all I got for now, and I'll give you more videos later. Thank you! Best of.